fire, up and baby, up and down.
Welcome to Load Bearing Beams.
Is it gonna go me, Emma?
What are you doing?
A little number.
Clearly, what bit?
From just one of the best motion picture soundtrack gems, the Put a Spell on You song from Hocus Pocus.
So you're saying of all motion picture soundtracks, this is a gem in all soundtracks?
Yeah, you gotta put them all together, and if you dug through them,
so you've seen this movie so many times that you know all of this stuff. It's all cataloged in your brain, but to me this movie's just a mishmash of goop. So what part are you specifically talking about?
Oh, well,
like I remember Bette Midler sings a song.
That's it.
That's it.
And the best part of the song is when she crowdsources some answer back business. All the witches join in and say that the spell part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the crowd says it back, and that's what enchants them, and that's why they all dance until they die.
It's hilarious.
I'm not saying that that's funny. I'm saying that I love that song.
And why wouldn't you?
I
think it was written
that part of the song is good.
No, I agree. Yes, I agree. So that was a good song. She's good at singing.
Yeah.
Good job. And the Sarah Jessica Parker song is really good and really creepy. And it was written by James Horner, who co-wrote "My Heart Will Go On,"
Press
and
on.
is a movie composer.
All right,
did
then.
the Titanic score.
Total
All right, my name is Matt Stokes.
My name is Lacey Roth.
Our podcast is called Load Bearing Beams, and this movie that we're talking about today, Hocus Pocus, which is one of Lacey's load bearing beams, I feel like it's a load bearing beam for many people our age.
Did you know that though? Did you think that I was just one of my little stupid...
No, because since the fateful Halloween 3 years ago where you attempted to show it to me, my sister, and our daughter, not me and my sister's daughter, but you, Lacey, and my daughter. Cause
traditional arrangement.
Lacey, and we have one of those traditional marriages. I was like, what the fuck is this? And we turned it off after 30 minutes.
It's slow as shit.
So I then started to become aware on the internet, the memes, the online fandom of this movie. It wasn't until just before recording the podcast today, doing some research, that it's a way bigger television event than I was aware of. Like, it's like a Christmas Story level, if not bigger.
I feel vindicated.
In terms of a movie that, when it came out, was not super well received, it was not a huge moneymaker, wasn't a bomb, but it made its budget back and then went away and was totally forgotten, but then showed up on TV over and over again, and people just began to make it a part of their tradition.
It's because it's the most Halloween-y movie you can... The entire movie takes place over Halloween. It's completely digestible for small children. It looks like an amusement park ride. There's nothing... This is the same reason why A Christmas Story works. If you want to feel all Christmassy, you're immersed in it with that movie. They never go beyond it, except for I think they go to New Year's.
What I was going to say was, this is it's a prototypical load bearing beam, because the online fandom all seems to be aware that this is all about nostalgia.
Yeah.
The movie, I don't know how good the movie is, the people seem to be saying, but how can you even tell? You've seen it so many times you can't even divorce your own feelings about yourself.
I disagree.
From the movie itself.
I disagree.
You disagree with that feeling, or with my read on the situation?
No, I disagree with that you can't divorce it, and maybe that's exactly why we're doing this podcast and no one else
trained.
is. Right, but no, this, if you listen back to maybe the first one or two podcasts, this is that experience of just really putting my neck out there saying, Maggie Stokes, I cannot believe you haven't been graced with the gift of Hocus Pocus. And then we put it on, and she cannot put her phone down, which, par for the course, but you're huffing and puffing back there. Macy could not give a damn. I was really deflated. And so, but I also was not enjoying it.
The point of our podcast is to do that over and over again, is to say hey, this thing that you put on a pedestal from your childhood, your adolescence, whatever, maybe you haven't seen it in a while. What's it like when you revisit it now as a jaded, cynical son of a bitch of an adult?
Knowing things.
And also having to show it to the person in your life who you love the most.
Right, and sometimes that's their kid. I mean, it especially... But
if you have to show it to somebody else, you want it
What? Yeah, I want it to be right. And most times when you say here's something, it's a jaw dropper that you haven't seen it. And once you watch it, panty dropper. But let me know. Not this movie. I just can't wait for you to know how cool I was back then and still am right now because look at this.
Because I love Annie Hall.
That was cool when you showed me that. I was like, hey, there's something still good. I did feel like I missed out, and I was glad to be part of the Annie Hall Club after that.
I've just never... We've discussed this on the podcast so many times, but I've just never had the same, like, admiration for stuff that I consumed when I was, like, younger than 16 that other people seem to have. Like, when I was a teenager, I was aware that the things that I used to like were shit.
You're not a sentimental person.
I think I am a sentimental person, just not in that way.
You're a cataloging person. You like to file... Yes. Yeah, you like to file things the way you like to collect things, but that doesn't make you sentimental. You're not emotionally attached to those things. They just are.
Maybe.
You're a curator.
Maybe. I'm a curator.
Not a care.
A curator. So here we are. It felt inevitable that we'd eventually have to reckon with this movie.
But this was just a random idea for you earlier last week, and then I'll be goddamn if you didn't make perfect timing on accident. Why don't you tell the listeners?
Yeah, so this year is the 25th anniversary of the movie Hocus Pocus.
Didn't know that.
1993 film directed by Kenny Ortega, starring Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and the immortal Omri Katz.
Meow.
As Max Meow.
Oh,
whose voice is a
who's not
combination
the cat.
of...
Wait, let's not... He's not...
Because there's a cat.
He's not Binks.
There's
Binksy.
a handsome devil named Binks.
A minx of a Binks.
Not a handsome devil named Katz. But Katz is a minx. Cat is a minx. Minx is a cat. Katz is a man. A human. A boy. And he likes yabos.
Oh, big ones.
Just got to get this out of the way. I mean, his voice... It's like a combination of Trey Parker's, like, douchey South Park voice, like Randy Marsh, but, like, not charming.
Yeah, because he's like, oh.
Oh, God, come on. Oh.
But then you nailed it when you said mixed with.
With Aladdin.
With Aladdin. He's
Boo, come on.
He is totally.
Danny, you're so lame and I love it.
I'm your big bro, man.
Hey, you just humiliated me in front of half the guys at school. So collect your candy and get out of my life.
Hey, girl, Jimi Hendrix, want my number? Because you're a cunt.
Jesus.
And she's like, yeah, I do. He's like,
he did not.
Nailed it. But then he's a loser again because he's riding his bike and he gets mugged and his shoes are stolen.
No. She gives his number back to him and pretends that she's going to give him her number. That's when he loses it.
Oh.
Yeah, she says, trick or treat. And then he hands him the paper and he's like, score-a-rama. And then he opens it and it says... his exact name and handwriting that he just gave to her.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh, I missed that. See, because I didn't realize his... You
didn't see the word cats. And so you're...
Well, that's the actor's name.
I know. That's why I didn't click,
Exactly.
You're used to the icon that is cats.
Yeah, like, I guess her name is Max? Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is... So Hocus Pocus. What were we talking about?
Well, we happen to be on the anniversary. It's a big deal on like TV, but this also just so happens I googled it like I do, trying to get the IMDb, and then it says showtimes. Like, what? Okay,
yeah, it's in theaters.
So it just so happens to be in theaters as well. We did not mean to do that. We're that good.
The Freeform channels, formerly ABC Family, shows it like nonstop, and it's the
like
biggest
Hallmarky stuff, like straight to TV kind of collection. Is that where
did you ever watch ABC Family, formerly Fox Family? I mean, they would do TV movies, but just a lot
I don't
of
know.
like...
Tell me what was on it.
Like whatever Mary-Kate and Ashley's like sitcom was.
They only ever had one sitcom.
I forgot what it was called, but it was
Full
sort of
House?
like... No, after that. Like when they're tweens, or like kind of like in between tween and teen. They did. I think it was called...
Sure?
It was like 2 for 1 or 1...
Wait, It Takes Two is a movie they did.
No, I'm not talking about It Takes Two.
It better not be.
I don't remember the name of the fucking show, but it was like that kind of stuff. It was like what
Step by Step.
Disney Channel's sitcoms now kind of like had their beginning on ABC Family.
All right then.
Okay, so that's the kind of stuff that they historically show. So they say this is the biggest rated thing of the year is just this fucking movie. that is 25 years old.
Because it's like the fireplace roasting. You can just put it on.
Snap, yeah.
Yeah,
but
well, that's why A Christmas Story is good, and that's why they run it for 24 hours in a row, A Christmas Story, because it truly is. It's just the fireplace app. You
A
just
Christmas
want
Story
it in the background.
Now, yes, I agree. Although A Christmas Story, it could totally
good.
like you can work. Well, yes, but A Christmas Story works because it's a vignette. It's vignettes. It's segments, and you don't need to watch them in order. Like you can just check in at any time during the day because it runs for 24 hours. And it doesn't matter where you are in the story. This movie does kind of have a beginning, middle, and an end that you have to follow.
But it does not. Yeah, but that's the whole point. They are under this assumption everyone's seen this. We're playing this because it tickles your memory glands.
Yeah,
that's not a thing.
No, I understand.
So so that's it's meant to jump in and out of too.
They're producing. Apparently, Disney's producing a big reunion TV special. That's going to air tomorrow night, October 20th.
All right.
Where the original cast is getting back together, and Bette Midler will be there. And you think she'll sing?
Do you think Satan will be there?
I love Satan, so I'll be there. And so that was just fortuitous timing. Because I was trying to. We're always thinking of what movies to talk about on the show, and I had seen a tweet from some website. I couldn't find the tweet. I couldn't find the website. But the article somebody posted was, we showed Hocus Pocus to a bunch of people who had never seen it. Here's how they reacted. And I was like, what the fuck? That's our thing.
We did that. We
do that.
We showed it to ourselves.
So we're
too,
doing
and
it.
Only half of us had seen it.
What? I want to just hear you've shared some thoughts, but share some more thoughts about your history with this movie.
It just
Why this movie appealed to you. Mm-hmm. And what you thought of it now. Well,
and maybe it's just strategic marketing, but it just always found its way to my TV during Halloween. And so because of that repetition, it just became a tradition. You're going to be like, okay, when do you want to pop this cork and put on the Hocus Pocus? Let the witching hour begin. And I don't know, it just was. And everything. There's tons of just quotable, memeable things.
When do you think was the first time you saw it? Or when
it came out?
Would you really watch it every year?
Yeah.
Every year?
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like I was rolling in DVDs or VHSs, so this is something that always came on TV.
Okay. And when was the last time you saw it, do you think?
Yesterday.
Thank you.
3 years before that, when I realized there's such a thing as a load-bearing beam. Jesus Christ! At least 10 years, probably.
But what did you like so much about it when you were a kid?
No, that it was
again. Every single time I ask this question, you're like, "What?"
No, I'm telling you that it made me feel like a certain time of year was here. I love this seasonal changing and getting you can't imagine ever wanting Halloween to exist the day after Halloween, and I love it when it magically just starts to feel like pumpkin flavored thing Halloween. I get so pumped that I care again. Mm-hmm. This movie's a part of that.
But its qualities as a movie.
Okay, yeah, no, the horrible cheesiness of it is embarrassing to watch. It's always kind of embarrassed me, and I don't know what that. There's something so earnest about it, but it's such bad acting. The way Danny cries has always bothered me. There's horror inside of that Halloween movie, but I love the sisters. I love every part with the witches.
It's hard to imagine that they wrote this movie not intending it to be ironically quoted. And
why ironically?
Because when you're a teenager and you're just doing voices, it's not like you're.
Yeah, but that's not ironic. You're just doing voices.
It is ironic because you're not exactly doing it for its intended purposes. Or that it would one day show up in memes.
I think it would, yeah, and for Halloween costuming.
But that purposes. They thought here we go. Here's some stuff that people will be into.
I don't know. It feels very Disney before. It feels very wholesome. Even the parts that are scary-ish, like the ground moving in the cemetery and the floorboards moving inside the cottage after the black flame candle is lit. It seems very intentionally to look like a amusement park ride. Nothing's breaking, nothing's bending, but it's all moving, all crazy.
I mean, I think that
glowing
Disney
green lights.
live action Disney movies, even just live action kids movies, family movies from this period, Like, you have the top, you have like Spielberg doing these kinds of movies at the top, and then you have like, your Goonies and your Amblin Entertainment movies, and this movie's sort of a part of that lineage where everything does look a little, like you said, amusement parky. I don't think that's intentional. I think it's just sets. I think it's just the way the sets look.
It's a set movie.
Just it looks very artificial, but like this, kids movies of this time were just a lot messier than they are allowed to be now.
Yes,
for better
tight
and
for
worse.
attention span.
Like, you could make a much better movie. Like, you just don't. You would never get like a train wreck like this, like Hocus Pocus today. You might not ever get the interesting version of what Hocus Pocus could be today, because I think it's trying to do some interesting stuff. I like that it's mixing darkness with interesting ideas about like women and feminism, and then like people out of time, stuck out.
I know you do love that.
Yeah. But it like the movie doesn't have the attention span to follow any of these threads.
Yes, the gaps in between and the stuff with the talking cat, all of that. I can't imagine. I can't believe I ever had the attention span to just stay with that movie. I feel like I probably always stopped watching parts of it.
I think that those are the kinds of movies, the movies that have weird tangents, that are disjointed, kind of make the movies that people get attached to when they watch them on cable, because they're interrupted by commercial breaks and because they watch them over and over again, that they suddenly just understand them, and now the narrative gaps no longer hurt it, because it's like, I understand everything, so what does it matter if I don't?
That's exactly what I realized I think on the Dirty Dancing podcast, is that those long, slow things you don't even notice anymore. You don't notice them until someone else is watching them and rolling their eyes. And this movie has perfect examples of that. So
the plot of the movie is that these three old witches in Salem
they're younger now.
In 1693, which was 1 year after the Salem witch trials ended, incidentally, put a curse on a kid, turn him into a cat.
They have a habit. At once they get a certain kind of old, and their decrepitude is at its height. The Sarah Jessica Parker one uses her bewitching song to lure children to their cabin, so that they can get them to drink the potion that loosens up their soul, so that the witches can stand around and suck the soul of children to take in their youth. That was just, and they take Thackeray Fuckintash's Binks, his sister is lured to the woods. That's why he goes to follow her. But she's just one of what should be a bunch more, so that they can become actually young. Mm-hmm. That's not about a cat until it is.
Yeah, but the ultimate consequence is they curse a kid and make him a cat.
Yes, but but the ultimate device is how important it is to be a good big brother to your sister. And apparently it's very important to be a virgin.
What? Okay. And then the townspeople come after the witches, and instead of like the witches flying away or cursing the people, or
oh right, go ahead.
Or they just let them kill them. Where do they go? What happens to them?
They hang them.
Okay, and
they don't fly away because they took the book.
But they don't know how to do anything without the book, like anything at all.
She can't even remember her spells and stuff. They can't even make the potion. She can do like lightning shit out of her fingers.
So why doesn't she do that?
I do not know.
What kind of powers are these? Like,
yeah, they're not super powerful witches when these kids and cats are constantly clever little white witch.
Also, weren't Thackeray's parents like looking for their lost boy, and the cat was still there, but the cat never said, "I'm your boy."
Right? He didn't learn. He learned to talk
Papa,
over a couple
Mama,
hundred.
I miss you.
Right. Away, beast.
Yeah. All right, so then flash forward 300 years to 1993, where badass Max Canister was...
Straight from the coast.
Yeah, he's got his tie-dye t-shirts. Max Dennison. A denizen of California, now in Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay, but can we stop to point out that my reoccurring theme, that you give me a town that looks like that and someone riding a bike...
Small town, especially one with a square.
Oh, God, give me a square.
Give you a square.
And just walkable, you know?
Kids on bikes.
Bikes and rustling leaves.
Maybe like a graveyard somewhere.
Oh, please do. As long as it's not too scary.
And then town toughs who aren't that scary. This is ice. He'll kick your ass.
They have some kind of like disability though, those two guys, right?
They do?
I always thought they weren't.
Which is that they stay up all night and don't drink.
I just never thought that they were the cool kids. There's just a lot of them.
Okay.
But You know, because there's like those super earnest kids from the very first scene of the present time of the movie that are just in awe, listening to their teacher retelling the story of the Sanderson sisters, one they've probably heard every single year since they were born because they live in Salem. If you look in the background, there are grown men, boys, just like,
well, yeah, the movie teenagers, especially from this time, are usually played by 29-year-olds. And there's this guy that I had to freeze frame and point out. This guy, this 38-year-old man who's balding and has a goatee, he's wearing glasses, and he's like beaming in joy at the old bat who's teaching them. Sorry,
don't ever age
bat.
around you. No wonder they're sucking children.
I'm part of the problem. I know. It's because I have my own insecurities about aging because I'm losing my hair and I can't turn my neck.
Well, then you can't see the hair.
And he is so excited to be hearing the story of the Sanderson sisters, and everyone in class is just wrapped with attention except for Max. And he's like, I don't believe in this
He isn't
stuff.
under the spell, you know what I'm saying?
He's over
He's got California dreams.
And she's like, what, you don't like Halloween? Which I love. It jumps from, you don't believe in the Sandersons? You don't believe in Halloween? He's like, no, it's fucking stupid.
Everyone here knows about candy companies. Candy Inc.
Candy companies have been in Halloween. I've never heard that before.
Well, that's what they say about Valentine's Day.
That's what they say about Valentine's Day.
Yeah, he got it mixed up.
But
actually, Max Dennison, my name is Yabos, and really, it was All Hallows Eve, and my blonde hair.
And that's when he thinks he gets her number because he says that Jimi Hendrix would have.
Let me know if Jimi Hendrix calls.
Okay.
Give him my digits, midget.
He doesn't get the digits. He goes home, gets robbed. He's angry.
He gets robbed?
He gets robbed.
Oh, yeah, he gets robbed for his
He's
shoes.
angry because he lives in this stupid town where they have Halloween and it's fucking stupid.
It is the most amazing, enchanting bedroom of all time.
This would have been a thing. If I watched this movie as a kid, I'd be like, this is a good movie because of the stairs in his room.
Stairs.
He just has stairs in his room.
They go right to some kind of
like tower
watchtower.
Sort of thing. Yeah. Which,
a beacon.
We got to get one of those.
God, do we need a beacon?
Okay, so he's like, hi, Mom and Dad. I'm what's up? And they're like, hi, how are you doing, son? Some shitty. God! And he runs to his room.
How could you take me from the beautiful coast of California to the enchanting village of Salem?
To the dumpster fire of America.
In
the
our
armpit.
right, in this upper middle class, beautiful home.
And he lays down, and this is just okay. Then he lays down in his bed. It barely shuts the door to his bedroom, and 1 second later, he's like hugging a pillow. He's like, "I love you, Allison. I want to touch your titties." and I don't know why he's saying this out loud. What he's trying to do. He's like, "Yeah, I'm making sex in you, yeah." And then his sister jumps out of the closet, and she's like, "What do you want to do?" Yeah. And he's like, "God, Allison," or whatever her name is. "God, Danny, you suck." She's like, "Really? You won't take me trick-or-treating?" And he's like, "No, I just want to drum." And he drums for a while, and the actor actually plays the drums. That's why this is in the movie, because they were like, give him something to do to show. Because he actually, yeah. And finally he's like, "Fine, I'll take you." Now, the reason I had to go over all of this is because this is all going to repeat like 35 more times. Max is mad at Danny. Danny forgives Max. But then Danny's mad at Max again. Halloween sucks, but let's go do some Halloween adventures anyway.
They don't have a choice. He lit the black flame. It was not an accident.
Light the black flame
not an accident.
Because he's a virgin. It's not an accident.
They really harp on that. You pointed that out. Like, what's up with Disney and this virginity stuff?
They keep saying, what do you think was up with that?
I really think it was just they had to make it one step more complicated and show like there was a bit of fate, you know, like it specifically states on All Hallows Eve, a virgin must light the black flame candle. But it's like half the town are virgins. But well, I don't know why they just kept saying it. I think it was to make the relationship and this like romp he's about to have with Yabos way more innocent. Because like, look, he's not on the prowl. He's really there with his sister and he just has a crush and that's totally fine. Like, I don't know, they're about to spend an entire night together. One that ends with him laying in his bed with her. And I think they needed to just stress he does not have any sex. He's pure of heart. Yeah. That's why.
I wouldn't have understood what that was if I'd watched it as a kid.
What the word virgin?
What the word virgin means.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, because his sister keeps mocking him for being a virgin.
Right, and she's 8.
Yeah, and he's like, you're a fucking loser. You're only 14 and you're a virgin.
I don't...
Bring the witches back. They're confused by things like cement roads and buses and...
Hard as stone.
All the kids. This. You've never seen so many people into Halloween as you have in this movie. Every fucker in town is dressed, and there's just revelry, and everywhere you go, it's a party.
Except for the woman the predatory bus driver who wobble wobble, I'm in trouble, or no bubble bubble, whatever he says. He is
Well,
disgusting.
I know they say we want children. He's like, give me a few tries, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
By fucking you.
Okay.
Without a condom.
Oh.
He says that. I put on the subtitles.
Right. And then the next scene is Sarah Jessica Parker driving the bus on his lap. And it's like, that is so kid-friendly.
But, you know what I'm saying? There's, in real life...
But it's because it's Salem, and that's kind of the point. That's why, like, for an outsider like Max, it's like, oh, God, get over yourself.
I didn't think of that, but...
Yeah, no, it's a Halloween town.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you looked up Salem, I think that they are really into that shit. It's just like, you know, like there's certain cities in the United States that are Christmas towns, and like they fucking mean it.
Really into, yeah, they really mean it.
Yeah, so it's like they come alive, and people travel to come see their cities.
Okay, so we're in Louisiana, Mardi Gras.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just debauch.
Yeah, you see it on TV, you're like, is it really like that? Like, it kind of is.
It kind of fucking is,
You
yeah.
kind of just go outside and
make us put our shirts on. Just try it.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Right. But the point is, you know, isn't it hilarious that they think that the world is now, it's their world. These people, they're all heathens, and they're all making mischief, and they've got demons and shit running around everywhere. It's perfect. They're perfectly at home, but they don't understand that these are all just people in costumes. They see somebody dressed up as Satan, they're like, Master! They go into their house. Gary and Penny Marshall, who are brother and sister in real life, play a husband and wife in the movie. And then they go to the town hall where they're having the most rockin' Halloween party you've ever seen at the town hall.
And you know what's always bothered me is the dad is appropriately surprised to see his son at that party who's not supposed to be there. But Danny's standing right there in front of her mom, who is dressed as Madonna. The mom is not surprised at all. It bugs the shit out of me. If I looked down and Macy were standing at a freaking concert, I thought I left her ass behind at the house.
One assumes she's on a lot of drugs.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking? And in a Disney movie, I'm supposed to assume she's on a lot of drugs.
We've discussed what kind of movie this is already.
A drug movie?
What, a condomless sex movie?
Okay. Anyway, excuse
eating
me.
children?
I just wanted to see if anyone else could relate to that feeling.
A sexy bus driver lap movie?
I am saying that's something that's stuck with me, and I find it interesting.
And it bothered me that Thora Birch, the girl, says to Thora Birch.
Her name is Danny.
Danny, I know. Best performance in the movie, I'd say.
Except for she cannot figure out how to cry to save her life. I hope she's figured that out.
All the three witches are fine. They're fun.
What? They're the best part of the movie.
I mean, yeah, they're the reason the movie exists. Yeah. But I'm just not into that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Your biggest thing, something that you can imagine being so amazing, is to have a group of friends that could just be all in on something. So when you see it in another group and they're all in on something that you don't think is cool, it really aggravates you.
No, I mean, that's true. Wait, aggravates me? No, the thing that what you're trying to say is...
You get hyper cynical about their thing because you're not in on that group and you don't see what's appealing. You feel like uber outsider, so you just kind of hardcore hate it.
Because in real life, if you're trying to recreate the movie The Craft with three of your friends, there's always going to be one of them who's going to be like, this is stupid. They're not all going to be equally into it. One's going to be like on their phone the whole time. Like, I just never buy that part of movies where you've got three friends who are equally engaged in whatever project you're obsessed with.
Yeah.
No.
That's why Stranger Things gets it better. They're all on some kind of crazy, life-changing thing that's happening to them, but they're not all equally into any one part of it.
Sure.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Whatever.
No, that's it. I never thought of it. But
why that show feels...
It's a way that show works.
Yeah.
No, I'm just not into campiness, you know. Bette Midler singing, and
I don't know that I would call that
Kathy and Jimmy
campy.
mumbling.
It was very theatrical, but that's not necessarily camp.
Okay.
Yeah, I never realized how cartoonish they really picked a type of way they were going to be with that character and went all in, and it's much more goofball than I remember it being.
It's very goofy.
Yeah, with the tease with Bette Midler and the I mean, I love Sarah Jessica Parker that way. I love her character. I think she's the best of the three. Yeah, it never stops being. She never breaks that whatever it is she's picked to be.
But it's just this movie has no idea what tone it wants to strike. It can't keep a consistent tone going. It's shifting from goofy to funny to scary to, I don't know, parody to... Like, that's why I say, like, movies are just more... Kids' movies, family movies are just more solidly made today.
Right.
And wouldn't be this messy.
They're not experimental. Or it's like, yeah, they don't just... we have funding.
Or
slap that on the screen.
Just did not seem very this doesn't seem very carefully made.
Yeah.
But now it bothered me that Danny says to her mom that she said, "And my brother's a virgin." And I'm like, why would she say her brother? How about Max?
Right. You know.
Because I didn't know that was their mom. Because you haven't seen the mom since the beginning of the movie, and I forgot what she looks like. So. Right. Is she talking to a stranger? No. But she still said, "My brother is a virgin."
Right.
Anyhow, so. What else? Leonardo DiCaprio was offered the role of Max.
Oh my God.
He was offered a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, what had he done before this?
He turned it down to play the Grape Brother.
Holy shit. What a turn of... what a sliding doors moment.
He and Katz could exchange careers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katz could have been the Wolf of Wall Street. Cat of Wall Street. Fighting a bear with the Revenant. What else? I don't know. I just looked at a lot of trivia about this movie.
Oh, well, anyway, I did think it was interesting that you said that the dead guy they bring back to life, there's a scene where he cuts his mouth open so he can speak, and they put live moths in his mouth. That's why it's so real when they fly out of it.
Live moths. They have some sort of contraption that kept the moths from going down
a dental dam.
The movie ends with the emotional reunion of the brother and sister who you haven't seen since the beginning of the movie. Except
for you feel no emotion about it at all because he's just been like a sarcastic, shitty cat the whole time.
Yeah, why should you? The movie's done nothing to make you care.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like, you could care that the girl, that Danny, who you care about, has lost her beloved cat.
Yes.
Who she's known for 30 minutes.
It's a long time.
But, yeah, they're finally reunited. I can't believe... I'm just... Tears everywhere.
And Emily's a twat. The little girl that gets dead, she gets dead. In the beginning, she doesn't even put up a fight. She just sits there. Her brother's dying for her. Her brother's calling her name, and she's like... I never did like that, Emily.
I never like it in movies when people just meet each other and then immediately address each other by their names over and over and over again.
This
like they're very familiar with each other.
This movie has a ton of name calling. Like referring to... Yeah.
And they immediately call Thackeray Binns. What is this? Binks. They immediately call him Binks. It's not like he's like, but call me Binks.
But no one knows.
Because I'm cool. I'm badass. I go by my last name. But they're just constantly, Binks. Come on, Binks. Binks. Binks.
Okay. Maybe he was also on a basketball team.
You have to believe.
You
have to fill in that gap to make it make sense. Yes, you have to know that
there's a small... shirts versus skins game that we just didn't see.
In the Hocus Pocus expanded universe, right. there's that novel where Binks plays ball. Anything else?
Goes hard in the Binks.
Anything else about Hocus Pocus?
I mean...
What did you think of the movie?
What the fuck? Are we restarting?
Give me sum up your thoughts. Give it a star rating. I don't know. I hated this movie. It fucking sucks.
1.5
No one should watch
star.
it. What did you think, though?
1.5.
Out of what?
Out of 5. God damn it. Out of 17. What do you want me to say?
That's bad.
1.5.
Okay.
I will not tell anyone to watch this again. I really think it does not withstand the test of time. You have to have already cared about it to care about it now. So.
And if you haven't listened to like all of our podcasts, that's not something we always do with movies, like with movies that we grew up with. We sometimes come back to them and say like, oh, they're really good. Oh, this is way better than I remember. Or oh, like, no, it's not as good as I remember, but it has a lot to recommend it. Or there's this interesting new read that I have on it. This is probably the worst rating
I've ever. This is probably the worst rating I've given any of my load bearing beams.
Maybe. I wonder what else would make that list. When have you said, because you'll be like, swing and a miss, but when would you have said that?
Ooh. We always had that.
I'm pulling up our website right now. Loadbearingbeams.com, please.
I haven't seen that banner. It's a nice banner. Oh.
Yeah.
Banners.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff on our website.
Yeah,
you can see a list of every movie that that we've covered. We both didn't like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Got a package, people. Sorry. Boondock Saints is probably
That's bad.
down there for me as one that I regret. I mean, we didn't do Fifth Element because I would be embarrassed of that one now.
But we've watched another movie by that director, Luc Besson, and it was great, Leon the Professional.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes me think, well, maybe
fantastic.
maybe I'm missing something.
Well, it was just hard to watch it with you. It made me feel very embarrassed because of all the slow parts in between the good parts.
I know, but I don't
want to hear it.
It annoyed me.
That ship sailed.
Anyway, The Grinch was bad. Anyway,
The Grinch was bad.
The Grinch
That's
was
another
bad.
one that's like gets the Christmas pass because it just My Girl. Oh, fucking My Girl. You had to have cried when you were younger to give a shit now.
and I think Parenthood is maybe my least favorite.
That one I still recommend.
I know we had the podcast where we argued about it.
Okay, great.
But you've picked a lot of really good movies and a lot of because I've picked Citizen Kane. Like I do very safe choices, but Lacey has a lot of interesting stuff. Slums of Beverly Hills, Empire Records, Welcome to the Dollhouse. Like these are much more interesting movies than I pick. Yeah. Okay. So
It looks awesome. You do a really good job.
Thank you, love.
You should use the avatars for our listener choices. Oh, I get it because that's just some dude.
It's just a silhouette.
But do you use it for when we have guests? Do you use their avatars? Because you should.
No. I think I just used the black silhouette.
Well, I would like you to stop doing that.
All right. Well, we've only had 2 guests. So.
There are 3.
Well, we had 2 sets of guests, and then one member of one of those sets came back for a second appearance.
We've had 3.
Wade. Hey, Wade. Who was the third?
Steve and Sarah, Wade, and your brother.
My brother. Hey, Elliot. Sorry. I forgot about him. We've made avatars. And Caleb. Shit.
Fucking Caleb! God, you're not good!
I'm okay.
You're good at website building.
Thank you.
I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Look at that sexy shit over there.
RothStokes.com for contact us about web design.
I think we're gonna have to cut all of this.
Really?
It's really lingering.
I think it's exciting.
Okay.
I think it's riveting stuff.
Because I keep saying how
It's
good
just
you are at
engaging
website.
content. We intended to do an episode about What's Eating Gilbert Grape, so we watched that movie
We
6
didn't
weeks
do
ago.
that?
No, we've never talked about it.
That's
But,
what's eating them.
Yeah.
Blow,
Is
blow.
that we never talked about them.
No.
Got any thoughts that you remember about that movie?
Are we really doing this now? God, I don't know. I feel like I was just full of thoughts. Tell me this. Did you like it?
Yeah.
All right.
It was pretty good.
It sounds like a 2.5, yeah?
No, I think I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd.
All right.
Like, not great. Johnny Depp still managed to annoy me 10 different times, but
But really low.
I was shocked at how well he did it not annoying me.
And I'm still going to say the least annoying performance of his is Benny and June. And you still haven't seen that. So prepare to be not annoyed.
But it's not like I think, but it was a good performance or like...
Oh, right.
Like a more engaging
But his hair!
actor would have made that
It's
a more...
beautifully
but it's
shiny.
It just mainly seems like, why is this a movie?
I don't
There's
know
not
why
a
it's a
story
movie.
here.
I do not know why it's a movie.
What?
I don't know.
But the mom
And
was
I love
very
the
touching.
friend.
The scene where the mom meets Johnny Depp's girlfriend was very sweet.
Yeah.
I like the relationship between the brothers and sisters. DiCaprio's good. It's
I like all the franchise talk from Riley's character. What is
John C. Reilly's good.
He's very good.
Yeah, Crispin Glover's in there. I don't know.
There's a ton of people in it.
It was a fine movie.
It's another one that just got in a sliver of time where you didn't have to have a franchise to latch onto. You just had to have an idea. Who's the director?
God, I don't even remember.
Is it a chick?
No, I don't think so.
I mean that in the best sense.
But like, what? Why would you watch it when you're young and be like, "This is my movie"? Like, what about it would make you want to like watch it over and over again?
They
Not that you have to,
they
but
had a hard life, but they loved each other, and the kids were responsible for the adult. That's where I connected was that they were like free range children, kind of. They just needed to live their life. They were made responsible for the other siblings. I related to Johnny Depp's character in that movie, and also the big sister, and also the little sister. Just in like, fuck this arrangement, but it's kind of empowering because it makes you older than your years, and I related to that. I guess but I also find it super watchable all the way through. I don't find it slow ever. So it's one of those ones where like, I'll just watch for a second, and then before I know it, I've finished it. And I had a huge crush on Johnny Depp.
It didn't seem like it just didn't seem super like entertaining to me. It just seemed like a solid, well-made movie with good performances.
But every part's good. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
It's kind of complicated. It goes through affairs, like small town stuff, people who are stuck in a place they don't want to be, small hopes for people who don't know of a lot of opportunity, the idea of caravan of things passing through the town every single year.
Sure. Who played the woman that he sleeps with, who's the married woman? Mary Steenburgen.
Mary Steenburgen,
Okay, yeah. She's good.
She's the hottie in town.
I mean, and
she's
it kind of
40.
works.
Yes, it completely works.
Mary Steenburgen.
I love that this element. I love that he works in that little store. Like there's like, but people are going to the big super center because why wouldn't you go there? Why are you going to go to the town shoppy?
Yeah, you go to one of these small grocery stores. It's all
dusty.
It's uncomfortable.
Right, because like
they're staring at you.
I have to buy this $8 can of condensed soup.
Baking soda, please. You also wanted to talk about the new Netflix series, The Haunting of Hill House.
I don't think I do.
You do?
No, I know that I said I wanted to. I don't know that I've got a lot to say. It's just good.
Well, a lot of people are talking about it online. I have not consumed any of that conversation because I didn't want to be spoiled, but it's 10 episodes on Netflix.
And I feel like it's too early in its existence that I don't know if I can effectively talk about it without
spoiling what happens in it. But we both really enjoyed it. I think you were into it in a way that you don't normally get so attached. Like you just really, really seem to connect to it.
I love anything that I don't know if this is a spoiler, just anything to do with hereditary illness, mental issues, things. The idea that you're not sure, and this isn't a spoiler because it plays with this idea the whole time, that you're not sure if you're looking through the eyes of someone who might be mentally ill or if you're looking at reality and that person's seeing things for what they are. That I love that. I love that to a mentally ill person, it doesn't matter if that's the horror that they experience in their life. That's an amazingly awful existence to not know the difference. And so when a show or a movie can do that and I just don't fucking know until the end or maybe ever, it's just like, just tell me!
It plays with the idea, I mean, I guess this is a mild spoiler, but it plays with the idea of maybe dying and being a ghost is good. Or is like a preference. You might prefer this to...
See, that's what I really liked about it, that it seemed like optional. I feel like it didn't have a heavy hand on the scale as to if it were good or bad.
No, I'm not saying the show presents the point of view, but the individual characters do have opinions about that. There's, like a ghost girl. So but
is she? Because it plays with that too. Like, I see, it's hard. I would love to talk about this, but that's what I love about. None of it is set in stone, and it's always shifting. And it was very neat and tidy. Like because if you're going to go off in that many directions, you're going to make that many strange things pop in and pop out and play with time that way. I need it to have been for a reason, and I thought that it was at the end.
I think that it's very Stephen King, because very much like Stephen King's best books, which always were super long and took like 300 pages before the shit really started to happen, because he wanted you to really give a shit about the characters.
Right, and I really did.
And their backstories, and the supernatural stuff that happens to them goes alongside the bad stuff that they themselves are doing.
Can I ask you, you made a good point about caring about the characters. Who did you end up... There's a lot of people in here to care or not care about. Who are the handful you actually liked as a person?
That I liked as a
like
person.
that you, like, you know, like sometimes you just, not that you related to them, but like you cared about what happened to them the whole time.
There's like, who do I enjoy? Who do I enjoy the most, or just who does I think is the best written character?
No,
and who,
also different.
Who do I most relate to as a person?
Who would you want to hang out with?
Nelly. I don't know. All the siblings seem kind of insufferable.
Oh, for me it was easily the one with the hands. Theo and Luke.
Honestly, like the
Theo,
parents,
Luke, and
probably.
the dad.
I think, yeah.
No, the mom freaked me the fuck out. She's intense, and all she does is have soliloquies.
It does present the thesis that ghosts are annoying as shit because all they do is talk in monologues to you.
Okay, but most of his monologues are really moving. It's not till like the last couple episodes where it's like, okay, this is monologue heavy, but I liked all of them.
I know, and if I enjoyed it less than you do, it's because I want all TV shows to be movies, and if not that, I want all like 10 episode seasons to be 6 episodes.
Right.
Like there's just it never seems like there's enough. You can cut a few monologues, cut off some of that fat, but you need this length to care about all the characters, because ultimately the haunting shit that happens there's not that much.
There really isn't. That's the most shock. I'm sorry.
Structurally, the show kind of shows you everything and then backs up and then kind of just jumps back and forth. And you risk narrative propulsion when you do that. Usually the show succeeds in doing this kind of storytelling. Sometimes, though, it's frustrating. You're like, what? I really just want to see what happens next. And instead, you're like, oh, yeah? What about the 70s? It really just shows you, like, really, here's everything that happened. You don't understand any of it, but we'll get to it. And you'll understand what you're seeing.
And even though there's like a handful of things that are truly creepy or scary, and some of them just aren't, they don't land like that. Like I think they're supposed to be more scary than they were in that moment, but some of them really fucking land. And because they kind of come out of the gate with one, you don't. I like that I couldn't totally predict when something that would scare me was going to happen. Like I knew that just from the pattern, there's only going to be 2 or 3 an episode, but you never knew when the fuck they were coming.
Mm-hmm. And you've been scared at night, right?
Oh, yes. I'm glad we're not watching it anymore. I was here by myself today for a little while during the day, and I can't, because of the way that they played with, like, you don't have to be in a scary place to see something scary. It doesn't have to be nighttime to see something scary. It typically just, you have to be alone. And that's why. So every time I go downstairs and no one's down there, I'm just like, okay.
It's a good recipe for a horror movie or creating any kind of monsters. Just be like, where do people feel safe? Okay, I'll haunt that. Which is the kind of the genius of Nightmare on Elm Street.
It never happens.
You think you're safe when you're asleep? No,
you just picked up something so good about what this movie is. It's never in a bathtub, and it's never in a bathroom. It's never in the common places where fucked up things happen to people in like a haunting situation. They're never their most vulnerably dressed, like.
Okay, yeah.
At night,
no, you're right. It is rare.
It's not at
Usually
night,
that's
and
a
they're
staple
not
of horror.
in a right. They don't shut a medicine door mirror and then something behind them. Right. It's not that. It's literally just. It's in the woodwork. You can't. And it's not an event every time. And sometimes the character doesn't see it, just we do. And then nothing happens. It's sometimes just they're just in the background. It's like, fuck.
They're haunted by ghosts that are both like actual ghosts and then like metaphorical ghosts.
Right.
And then like just trauma from seeing a ghost. And then those are all kind of the same thing, and they kind of weave in and out, but not in a lame way.
And they also all, in their own way, 1, 2, 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, have jobs in the present that make them encounter this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. The only one who doesn't have a job that seems to have anything to do with their past and their hauntingness is Nellie.
What's Luke's job?
He writes. Oh, Luke. No, Luke.
Luke
just has drugs. Which makes him still see stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like he's haunted on the daily basis because of right. But so that's what I mean. Like, you're in the present and you're not safe from it because all of their jobs have this like fascination with the idea of a person being either mentally ill or truly haunted, and you don't know the whole time which one of those you're dealing with.
Right.
In all 4 of the scenarios they show you of their, up to date life. And Nellie. But that doesn't happen until she's paired with her husband. The playing with, is this real or is this a medical thing? What the fuck? There's
the
so
sleep
much
paralysis thing. She has sleep paralysis.
She does obviously actually have that, but are her visions happening too? And then he explains that visions can. All right, see, I feel like we're spoiling.
No, I don't think so. But no, yeah, you're dead on. Yes, and that's why these different things play with each other. Real ghosts, imagined ghosts, ghosts of ghosts, and I mean.
And this is by far the best depiction of an effect, or the only movie I feel like has ever really tried to show you.
TV show.
Whatever, what an adult might look like after having that kind of blip in their child, because we're only talking about a couple weeks of their childhoods, but it changed their entire lives. Or it might have been like a month or something, but I know it was a short period of time.
And they can always say, if they're in denial, like, yeah, and our mom committed suicide, of course we're going to be fucked up.
Spoiler.
Is that a spoiler?
Yeah.
Don't they reveal that, like, right away?
No.
They hint at it right away.
The hint. The hinting.
The end.
Okay.
I didn't think it was scary, but it's good.
It's scary. It's emotional, which makes me more scared because I'm feeling, like, invested in the people.
Yeah.
Shut up.
We should watch more Halloween movies.
No,
But not Halloween the
no,
series.
Fuck no.
Michael Myers.
Fuck
Although
no.
there's a new one out.
Fuck that. Until I hear some review.
They're all good, but the
then I'll
reviews of the John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween are all great too.
In that
and that
time.
was one of the earliest movies.
In
no,
that time.
It is today regarded as a classic.
Because people think they have to.
This again.
Because it was groundbreaking.
This again.
And for what it is, yeah, it's the very first of something completely original. I don't give a fuck.
I don't like it either. I don't like the movie either.
Right. So
when
I'm
we watched
saying
it.
that if reviews are still good, if good of a new thing now, I trust that review.
But I would just counter. I would push back against you saying, well, they think they have to say that to seem smart. If
No,
they
not to
subsequently
seem smart.
say, if they retroactively say an
have
old
clout.
movie, if
And
they
they're
say
cool.
you think that saying an old movie is good is done because you have to say that.
Not
because
an
it was
old movie, a
groundbreaking.
classic movie. Yeah, there are movies that are classics that were they are classics and they withstand the test of time for good reason. They're old doctor's tools from the 1700s that you put in a museum. Wow, cool, but I don't want to fucking use them. Okay, so it's like there's technology we still use from the 1700s. That would be your Citizen Kane. There's technology we don't use from the 1700s. That's fucking Halloween.
I think
it sucks
I think
now.
I think most people think it's a tool you still use.
Well, then I hope it's a rusty dildo.
Yeah.
And then go fuck themselves. God.
Mic drop.
These mics are expensive.
Lacey out.
The time's come to play here in my garden of magic.
Danny?
Danny?
But I'm back.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and
Podcasts
sisters,
and girls.
thank you for listening so much. So much thanks for listening.
Wait, let's wait and do our thankful episode like a month from now.
Let's what?
This Thanksgiving. So, don't get too thanksy over there. There's our theme for the next
Oh, okay.
podcast.
Yes, I'll say
we're moderately appreciative.
But Lacey was gushing about our website, loadbearingbeams.com, so go check that out.
Oh my god, the guest.
I have some
Mainly
blog-
there's just a ton of pictures of me on there.
Well, I have a lot of blog posts about the movies, some additional thoughts that maybe we didn't get in on the podcast.
Oh, and do you still put what we name our files individually on there?
Sometimes.
Because mine's a good one. Today.
Mine's okay. Mine's Hocus Pocus.
Oh, mine is not so magical.
Oh.
Huh?
Okay.
No, it's not that good.
Outside of the U.S., you know what this movie is called? You know what
Hocus Pocus!
Hocus Pocus is called?
Bippity-boppity-boo?
Abracadabra.
No, it's fucking not.
You gotta love the scene where Max is like, "There's just a lot of hocus pocus."
So then it dubs over, and
then he
Abra.
and then he actually looks at the camera and winks. Then Jiminy Cricket flies out of his ear.
Turns into a cat.
And Tinkerbell's him. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, I love you. Bye.
3, 4. Everybody, love Mary Creams.